Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter 5, Coal and Petroleum. Children, in our everyday life, we use a lot of materials to fulfill our basic needs, and we call these materials as resources. So, how we are going to define resources? Anything in the environment which can be used is called a resource. Basically, we can classify these resources into two categories: natural resources and man-made resources. Now, what do you mean by natural resources? Natural resources are the materials which we obtain from nature. For example, water, sunlight, air, forest, coal, petroleum, etc. Many more examples are there. What do you mean by man-made resources? Materials which are made by man with the help of machines and technology are called as man-made resources. So what are the examples? Vehicles, medicines, dams, buildings, paints, and etc. Many more are there. Now Bujo is having certain questions. See, what's the first one? Can we use all our natural resources forever? So what should be the answer, children? Can we use all our natural resources forever? Means they are everlasting? The answer is no. We cannot use all our natural resources forever, because these are going to, many of these actually are going to exhaust one day. Okay, exhaust means finish over one day. Another question is having, can air, water and sunlight be exhausted by human activities? The answer is no, these cannot be exhausted at all by human activities, as you have already learnt in your previous classes that these resources are the renewable kind of resources. Renewable kind of resources means it can be renewed, means produced within a few time, certain time duration, it can be reproduced. Okay. Another question he is having, is water a limitless resource? So what should be the answer? Yes, you all know it very well. Water is a limitless resource. But by unwise use and cutting of trees by due to human activities, okay, so these sources of water can be finished. So students, on the basis of availability of these natural resources, it can be classified into two groups: inexhaustible natural resources and exhaustible natural resources. So the resources which exist in unlimited quantity in nature and does not exhaust because of human activities, such resources can be termed as inexhaustible natural resources. For example, sunlight, air, etc. What do you mean by exhaustible natural resources? Various resources which are limited in nature and are likely to exhaust, means finish, in near future due to human activities are known as exhaustible natural resources. For example, forest, wildlife, fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, minerals, etc. All these are the examples. Okay. So to get more clear with the concept of exhaustible natural resource, let's deal with an activity from your book, that is activity 5.2. What you have to do, children? You have to make a group of 7 students. Then divide that group into 3 subgroups containing 1, 2 and 4 students in each. Consider this as first, second and third generation respectively. Students, why we have taken only 1 student in first generation, 2 in second generation and 4 in third generation? As by doing so, we are showing that population is increasing generation after generation. These subgroups represents the number of consumers in different generation. Now, take a jar full of chocolates, which will represent the exhaustible natural resource available to us, and ask the first generation to consume it. Obviously, it is in sufficient amount now, so first generation won't have to think, or maybe they will not think and they will consume it, and after then ask the second generation consumers to use it. Students, then observe the chocolates left in the jar. After the first and second generation will use it, then observe the number of chocolates in the jar. you will find that the amount of chocolates is reduced. Now whatever is left is may or may not be sufficient for the third generation consumers, as number of consumers is more in third generation. So what will happen? Some of them will will able to use it, and some of them will not. Students, we are bound, as we cannot refill the jar with the chocolates again, as its production takes time. Similarly, as it happens with the exhaustible natural resources, that its production is a time taking process, and so we had a limited stock of exhaustible natural resources. I hope it is clear. So if current and subsequent generation use much of these resources in near future, there is a possibility that these resources may not be available for future generations. That's why effective management and use of these exhaustible natural resources is necessary. I hope you all understood the concept of exhaustible natural resources and why we have to use it wisely and judicially. Okay. Next, in this chapter, we will study some of the exhaustible natural resources like coal, petroleum and natural gas. Children, these exhaustible natural resources, coal, petroleum and natural gas, are examples of fossil fuels, as these are formed from dead remains of living organisms. And so, how we are going to define fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are the fuels which are formed from the dead remains of living organisms buried under the earth over a long period of time. Now, let's first discuss about coal. Students, you may have seen coal or heard about it. Coal is a hard substance, black in color, and it acts as a combustible substance. It is a combustible substance used as a fuel due to presence of carbon content that makes coal a valuable source of energy. The burning of coal produces carbon dioxide. When we burn the coal, as it contains carbon, so in presence of air, when we are going to burn it, it produces carbon dioxide gas. What are where we are going to use this coal? Coal is used as a fuel in cooking of food. It is also used in railway engines to produce steam to run the engine. To produce electricity, it is used in thermal power plants. Coal is also used as a fuel in various industrial activities. Now, Paheli wants to know, where do we get coal from and how is it formed? Children, we get coal from coal mines. Since coal is formed deep inside the earth, so it needs to be taken off by different methods. Not everywhere we will get coal. There are certain areas which have the deposits of coal. Now let's learn how the coal was formed. Coal was formed from trees and plants. Around 300 million years ago, lot of areas were covered with dense forests. Due to some natural processes like floods, volcanic eruptions, etc., these forests got buried deep under the soil. Gradually, more layer of small rocks, big rocks and soil get deposited on it. As a result, these dead plants were getting compressed and getting deeper inside. And so, the temperature and pressure also increases, due to which the dead plant slowly converted into coal. This entire process of conversion takes millions of years, and thus it is not possible for us to prepare coal artificially. Students, the process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is called carbonization. Remember this. So, in this way, coal formation takes place from fossils, and so it is considered as fossil fuels. Children, coal is not only a source of energy, but also we obtain many useful products from it, like coke, coal tar, coal gas. We obtain these products by heating coal in absence of air. Students, remember, if coal is heated in presence of air, it will produce carbon dioxide gas and no other useful products we will be getting. That's why we used to burn the coal in absence of air to obtain the useful products obtained mixed in it. The strong heating of coal in absence of air is called destructive distillation of coal. Children, this is the process by which we are obtaining the useful products. Okay. In this process, coal is heated to above 1000 degrees Celsius to obtain the various useful products. Here we will discuss only three main products, that is coke, coal tar and coal gas. See, first we are going to discuss coke. When in this process all coal will be heated, then the residue left at last is the coke, the purest form of carbon, which contains almost 60% of carbon. It is the porous black substance used in the manufacturing of a steel. It is also used as substitute of coal in domestic heating purposes, as it is more cleaner and efficient fuel than coal. Our next useful product which we obtain from this process is coal tar. It is a dark viscous liquid having unpleasant smell. Students, during this process, the vapors, when we burn the vapors start moving through the tube and it gets settled down in the water. Okay, that is referred as coal tar, and it is having unpleasant smell and used to manufacture many other useful products like perfumes, plastics, paints, medicines, naphthalene balls, etc. Naphthalene balls, I hope you all are aware, it is the moth repellent, insect repellent, used as an insect repellent. Okay, and the last product which we are going to get in this process and which we are learning is coal gas. Coal gas is a mixture of methane, hydrogen, carbon monoxide and other gases. It is used as a flammable gaseous fuel in many industries. Coal gas also used for the first time for street lighting in London in 1810. Nowadays it is used as a source of heat rather than light. With this, I end up our topic here. I hope the concept of fossil fuel, the formation of coal and its products and its uses is clear to you all.